Hey, everybody, on today's Locked On Bama, we're going to talk a lot about Jimmy's roster countdown. This is something that's always a lot of fun during the summer. We just take the numbers of the players and just go down the list and give a description of them and what we think they're going to do for the year. We've also got to talk about this mock draft that came out on CBS Sports. It's so bad that we can't not talk about it. So we have to talk about it, and we're going to talk about it right here on Locked On Bama, so stick with us.
Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back into Locked On Bama. Thanks again for making us your first listen. Luke Robinson, that's me. Jimmy Stein, that's him. Jimmy, how are you today?
Good. Ready for another week, and let's knock out another week and get closer to football.
Let's do that. Jimmy.
USFL does not count. That's not football. I don't know what it is, but it's not football.
Well, I don't want to get off on a USFL thing because this isn't a USFL podcast. I'm going to tell you something. I've kind of enjoyed watching the Stallions. I've been to a game. It was kind of fun. I would recommend people going. Protective Stadium is kind of cool. It's like a high school stadium on steroids. It's like a Texas high school stadium, frankly. And I think it's kind of cool. I would recommend people go to it, but that's just me. I wish they had more Alabama players on the team, but they don't, and so that's the way it is. They do have Marlon Williams from the Mobile area, and that's pretty cool, but other than that, doesn't matter. Jimmy, normally we start out with something, right about this time about recruiting or whatever, but we've got to talk about this horrific mock draft that just came out from CBS Sports. It may be the worst mock draft I've ever seen. Frankly, I just think it's god awful. This is put out there by, Chris Trapasso, who, Chris, dude. All right, he's got Will Levis, the Kentucky quarterback, going number 1 to the Houston Texans, which I assume means he wants the Houston Texans to be drafting first for the foreseeable future, because if they draft Will Levis, that's exactly what's going to happen. Then he's got C.J. Stroud going number 3 and Bryce Young going number 5 to the New York Giants and Will Anderson going number 6 to the Chicago Bears. If Will Anderson lasts to number 6 to the Chicago Bears, and let's assume he doesn't have an injury or anything that makes it so, it would be the biggest steal in draft history.
To me, it's outrageous. That whole list in the order is that blows. If it plays, hey, let's see. No one knows. If everyone knew exactly how the draft was going to go 1 year from now, then march your ass to Las Vegas or BetOnline.ag and make your bet. Because if you know how it's going to go, then bet it. You'll make yourself a fortune. But no one knows. So I'm hesitant to trash the guy. I'll just say that I'm really surprised at his opinions. They're surprising to me. Let's see if it plays out that way. First of all, I've been defending a lot of the Will Levis projections because I actually thought last year watching Levis play that he was an NFL quarterback, and I was thinking, man, this guy, if he played in a more wide open type offense with more playmakers than just Wan'Dale Robinson. I mean, Levis has a lot of NFL traits. To me, it's obvious that he does. He's a big, strong kid. He's plus athletically. He's a winner. Kentucky has won and played like a better offense the moment he showed up. And while I think accuracy is sort of going to be my knock on him, which is a big one, accuracy is a big knock, but arm strength and arm talent's not. I mean, this kid can really wing it. And again, big, strong, good kid too. Awesome in the locker room. But number 1 overall, I could sit here as a homer and go nuts off of him ranking Will ahead of Bryce Young. But I'll just say from an objective, you rank him ahead of C.J. Stroud. That's crazy to me. I just don't get that at all. And Will Anderson not going to – Will is almost certainly going to be the first non-quarterback to go in this draft. I mean, the quarterbacks could go 1, 2, 3, but will be the first non-quarterback taken. I couldn't be more adamant about that. Just Matt Miller, who's a great NFL analyst. He's even on ESPN all the time with Kuiper and McShay. He tweeted the other day, my Twitter account will be a Will Anderson fan account for the next year. And that's how people feel, I think, that have really broken down his tape.
Yeah, I can't imagine a world where Will Levis goes ahead of Will Anderson unless Will Anderson is dead.
And that's not even where this madness. That's not even where this madness ends. Go over the other quarterbacks that he has in this first round. He's got a bunch of first-round quarterbacks, which I like. It makes it interesting, but I'm like, whoa, hit the brakes, Mr. Chris Mock guy.
Yeah. And I'm just counting. I mean, he's got, by the way, we'll just throw these in there. We're not going to talk about this. We're not going to talk about this draft very much, but he does have Eli Ricks going number 10 to the Redskins. He does have, I mean, they're a bunch of SEC guys. I mean, the whole thing is about half SEC guys. Kayshon Boutte going number 15 to the Vikings. Man, what a pick that'd be at 15. I think that'd be an absolute steal. And then they got Jordan Battle going number 28 to the Buffalo Bills. And he's got Bijan Robinson going to Kansas City at number 30. I think that'd be an absolute steal. But again, I just think this whole thing is so messed up that I can't really take it with anything other than a grade of saw, as they say on BetOnline. But and so I know some people who are listening are like, if y'all hate this so much, why are you talking about it? It's because we hate it so much that we're talking about it. That's exactly why
he's even got Malik Cunningham. That's the first time I've ever seen Malik Cunningham mocked in the first round. And I like Malik Cunningham, and I do think he's what we call, toolsy. I mean, Malik is a plus athlete. He's great with his legs. He has a strong arm. I just don't think Malik Cunningham is an NFL level passer, or at least not to justify a first round selection. It's kind of funny to me with Tyler Harrell leaving Louisville, coming to Alabama. Yeah. To me, it's just kind of funny. Like, the word was, well, he's leaving to go play with the first round quarterback. Yeah. And this guy's basically telling Tyler, hey, you're leaving a first round quarterback.
Hey, this guy thinks Harrell is a dumbass for not going to play at Kentucky.
That's right. He's also got Devin Leary, who I love as like a second, third, fourth round guy from NC State. I think Devin Leary is an interesting guy. He has him not only in the first round, he's got Devin Leary in the first round going to Miami to replace Tua.
Oh my God.
Devin
all
Leary.
Right, Jimmy, all that nonsense aside, I need to tell everybody about BetOnline before we get into your roster countdown. BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting stats and sports info. Find all the latest sports developments, league reviews, and news, including this year's basketball playoffs, which are going on right now, and they're getting pretty heated. Major League Baseball, of course, is kicking off. All that's on BetOnline. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, from live betting to playoffs to eSports and more. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and actions. BetOnline is where the game starts. Go check them out ASAP. BetOnline is where the game starts. Jimmy, what are you doing
right now?
Yeah, you have your fist in front of your nose for some reason.
I was fighting off a sneeze is what I was doing. If we need to be completely accurate about what's going on, I was fighting off a sneeze.
Good work. All right, Jimmy, let's get into your roster countdown. You start off with number 99. It's 99 days. Well, when you started this, it was 99 days till the start of fall camp. That's pretty unbelievable. And so number 99, you are taking Isiah Hastings. That's not officially his number yet. No. And it probably won't be his number. No. But you start with Isiah Hastings, and this is a newcomer coming in. What do you think about him?
Big excited about Hastings long term. I'll be very surprised if he's playing this fall. There's so many defensive linemen in the defensive line room. He'd have to jump over so many people. And we know going in, this is a raw player that hasn't played a lot of high school football. He's originally from Canada, didn't start playing football till later in life. I love him in the long term. I think he could even be a high round pick eventually. I doubt we'll see much of him this fall.
Well, I think you're right. I think that we probably won't see a lot of him this fall. But I'm like you. I'm just ecstatic about the potential with this guy. He was ranked on the On3 consensus at number 144, the number 20 ranked defensive lineman. And I think in a few years, what's going to happen, Jimmy, is we're going to look back and go, how in the hell did they have him at number 144 and the 20th best defensive lineman? But I think he's getting some extra credit right now, actually, for his potential. And I think when you re-rank defensive linemen in 3 or 4 years, if you re-rank this class, he'll be in the top 5. I really believe that.
He could be. And On3 ranks Hastings much higher than the other sites. So consensus, he's a little lower. On3 had Hastings way up there. And I like that myself, particularly if you look at who Alabama had to beat to get him, which was basically everybody. I mean, all the big football factory type programs, they were all in on Hastings.
Jimmy, let's go ahead and take another break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about your number 98 player. This will be a bit of an abbreviated podcast today. And so when we come back, we'll talk about number 98. And by the way, this is something we're going to do just intermittently throughout the rest of the summer, is talk about the roster countdown. And we'll have more information about some than others because, you know, guys like Isiah Hastings, they hadn't been on campus yet. We don't know anything about them. So we're trying to discern what we can. But number 98, we know a little bit more about him, and he had a special spring game. We'll talk about him in just a second. All right, Jimmy, number 98 is Jamil Burroughs. And this is a guy that kind of burst onto the scene during the spring game. It was really good to see him come alive there. I thought it was a fantastic performance, and one of those performances makes me think, okay, this guy's going to help a lot next year.
Exactly. I think Jamil Burrows was one of the stories of the spring. Alabama we had 4 defensive linemen set as part of a first-team rotation with DJ Dale, Justin Aboigbe, Byron Young, and Timothy Smith. But you can't do it with 4. You need 5, maybe even 6. So this spring was critical that one other defensive lineman at least stepped up and proved that, hey, I'm ready to join those big 4. I'm ready to be part of, the guys that are in and out, snap to snap, and play 40, 50 snaps a game on the defensive line. And Jamil Burroughs is the guy this spring that stepped up, and not only that, stepped up in a big way, 2 sacks on a day, and maybe showed he can be the kind of guy that gives us that quality pass rush from the interior. It's hard to wrap your head around this, but Phil Mathis had 9 sacks last year from that position, and we have to replace that level of production.
That's so interesting. I would have never guessed that. I mean, if you put the over under at 5.5, I would have taken the under.
That's right. Yeah, Mathis had 9 sacks, and Byron Young had 4 sacks, and we need an interior pass rush to complement what we know is coming from the outside.
Yeah, it's so wild. Byron Young, by the way, I've seen him listed in some mock drafts for 2023 too in the first round. Again on CBS. So I'm beginning to take all those CBS mock drafts with a grain of salt again.
It's a stretch to put Byron in the first round right now. That's a stretch, but I wouldn't rule out that happening. I think Byron Young could have that Phil Mathis type senior season, and he's going to test better than Mathis. So, Mathis went pretty early second round. So I don't think it's crazy to put Byron there, but based on what we've seen to date, it is a stretch.
We'll talk about Byron Young a little bit later on when we get to his number. Let's go ahead and knock out one more, Jimmy, in number 97, and that's Khurtiss Perry. This is a guy I can't say enough good things about. I mean, I am in love with him as a player. Okay, he's not Will Anderson because nobody's Will Anderson, but he reminds me of Will Anderson in the sense that he is deceptively strong. And, boy, he's not deceptively fast. He's just fast. And it's not just fast, it's quick. It's not like a straight line speed. He's quick. He's got great instincts to me. I've seen him play a couple of times live, and I was just blown away. I think he's fantastic. I am so ecstatic Alabama got him. He's not the prototypical size guy for Alabama, much in the way, to me, Will Anderson seems like a I mean, like if you looked at Will Anderson, you say, oh, boy, he kind of. I mean, yeah, I mean he's a Greek god. I mean, if he's just on the beach, but if you look at him football wise, you might say, okay, he might be a little light. Well, he makes up for it in all this country strength he has. You know, that I don't know how many people out there from a small town like me, but you have some dudes that you're around that they don't ever lift weights. You don't ever see them doing a lot of physical labor, but for some reason, they are the Incredible Hulk when it comes to a fight, and they're just country strong. And that's what Will Anderson has to be. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't work out, et cetera. Same thing with Khurtiss Perry. I just feel like Khurtiss Perry is just. Some people are just football players. He's a badass football player. I swear, Jimmy, I think he's going to contribute this year. I know I'm probably overselling it, but tell me I'm not wrong.
Well, I'm excited to get him, and that's not normally something I would say about a defensive lineman that's as small as he is. I mean, he is listed as the literally the exact same size as outside linebacker Jeremiah Alexander, but Khurtiss Perry is a down lineman, a hand on the ground defensive tackle type. So he's small. The question is now, no one questions the motor, no one questions the quickness and athleticism. The question is, can he be effective at that size? Probably as a pass rusher. I think early in his career, whether it's this fall or in his first couple of falls, I can see him used inside as a situational pass rusher. The interesting thing will be, can he develop into a 3-down lineman as he grows older and bigger? Hey, look, you know, the best defensive tackle in the world is Aaron Donald. He is small per NFL standards. So that's who I think of with Khurtiss Perry. I hope he's an Aaron Donald. He may end up Nick Gentry, who by the way, was a good player in his senior year. Yeah, Gentry was a good player in his senior year.
All right, buddy, that's going to do it for this episode. Tomorrow we will continue the countdown. Actually, tomorrow I think I'm going to have John Garcia. So, Jimmy, you're welcome to join us, but you may or may not be available. I don't know. Sometimes it's a shocker. You never know what you're going to do. Jimmy's cray-cray like that. He's in another room right now. You are always somewhere different, and I dig it. Jimmy, that's going to do it for today. So until tomorrow, roll tide, everybody.
Roll tide.